Hey, I'm Eleanor and welcome in. Today's Pick a Card Tarot reading is meant to help you connect to more joy. And instead of sitting back in hopes that joy will find you, you don't have to wait because there are things that you can do and choose now to create it. So stack 1 is partnership, stack 2 is gratitude, stack 3 is the mirror. There are timestamp below and let's get to it. All right, stack 1. The partnership card says, God speaks to us through people. We are ambassadors of grace for one another. And then you have the 4 of autumn, the Knight of spring, the goldfinch, and snow leopard, the watcher. All right, so I want to get ahead of this really quick and say that going out and getting a relationship today is not what they're saying. Your existing relationships can bring you joy, and doing some healing on them or yourself will help in the pursuit of new ones that can bring more joy, and the potential for finding one in particular that brings you joy, that's increased as well. So because the 4 of autumn is a card of recovery and serves as a reminder that it is a process and there's nothing that says that there can't be joy built into that process, it is not a prize withheld until the end. However, the more of it you do for yourself, the more you can repair your relationship to yourself and enjoy your own company, the more cherry on top and sweet your connections to others can become, instead of almost neutral, because most of the energy from them goes into picking you back up to baseline. It says to heal and educate yourself at least back to baseline, and then suddenly all of your healthy relationships become sources of joy instead of sustenance. The unhealthier ones could fall away once that need is met for yourself. And the Knight of spring invites you to treat yourself to little sparks of joy along the way, anywhere you can find them. Like I said, healing and repairing your relationship to yourself is a process, and so reward yourself along the way to keep yourself going. And that doesn't have to involve money, like music, walks, naps, petting cats for free at a rescue. Also, sharing memes with your loved ones, laughing with people. If you're away from your loved ones, establish a routine contact, text or call. And if you feel like you don't have many loved ones, laughter is the single best way to connect in the moment with strangers or acquaintances or new people. It releases new bonding hormones that can encourage further connection. Now, I love how the goldfinch has this third eye with that card of the watcher. Several things here. Checking things off your to-do list releases pleasurable brain chemicals. So pick the single easiest, smallest thing to do it, check it off, and pay attention to that little hit, especially if it's a text or an email back to someone, even if it feels like it's been an awkwardly long time that you've been sitting on it. And the next best thing you can do, if you don't have anything like that, would be to throw away some clutter or organize a small space, maybe one drawer or one shelf. And I find that to always be a little bit of a gateway to more. Well, it's like, oh, if I do that shelf, well, now I have to do this one. It's like, and the joy is twofold. The flow state of the process once you break the initial seal of procrastination. And then again, with seeing the result, the clearer energy flow, a feeling of more space and freedom of movement. Like, I associate a cluttered, stifled, crowded feeling with poverty, and airy, open spaces with wealth. So this is actually, it's the first step of that healing process, because it reduces distractions and interference between you and your intuition and emotions. And also with this, a very specific message coming through. Next time you feel the impulse to buy something unnecessary that's going to ultimately bring you more clutter than joy, reach out to someone in your life. Have a quick or long exchange of energy, well wishes, ideas, support, just thinking of yous, whatever. Now, the watcher is all about your mystery, being a scarce and sacred commodity yourself, and to treat yourself as such. It says not to reward the bad behavior of others with your energy or attention. Like, the partnerships they're referring to are with people on your level who won't bring your own vibe down. All the little ways that reaching out came up here today, it's to people you have first observed from a distance, objectively, and decided if they really add a net positive balance to the equation of your life, or do interactions with them leave you feeling drained or like you need a shower, and not in the good way. So be highly selective. And if you aren't ready to be that selective, go back here to that space clearing and tuning into yourself to begin the healing and self-repair process. And the more you do, the more your associations start to stratify for easy identification. Joy, not joy. I choose this, not that. We're not designed to go through life alone. We need love, we need community, we need attachment and connection. But just like food, it's a need, but we have to be mindful about being hungry, leading us to detrimental choices. It's the same thing, not letting loneliness lead us to detrimental choices. So self-work, and then intentional choices of people who we feel joy with. Okay, step 1, I hope that helps, and I will talk to you next time. Okay, step 2. The gratitude card says, be thankful. A grateful heart is like a magnet drawing toward it a wealth of abundance. And then you have the 9 of Winter, the Orchard, Digitalis, and then Hair Cycles. All right, so first I want to address the message of gratitude. And I know that when everything feels like it's falling apart, being taken away, or taking too long to get better, this is the last thing you feel. And being told to can trigger anger. I have been there. And so when I say I, the most negative and resentful person I have ever met, began a gratitude practice in 2017, and everything started to change around me. It began with grateful that Aldi was carrying the mocha oatmeal again, or something stupid, some tiny things. And one day I received a present in the mail, and the following another. Like, my friends were like, hey, I just thought of you, this belonged to you, and I just thought you should have it. And it became its own force, and it took on enough momentum that I am a fundamentally different person, and my life is completely different. And there are still days when I want to shove someone's reminder to be grateful up their condescending ass, but I get it. So just start teeny tiny, be consistent, and be patient to see that snowball form. So anyway, just like stack 1, I feel like that's the message to help you get back to baseline, to neutral. So from there, we can start adding in the cherries. And so with this 9 of Winter, there's something about giving yourself something to look forward to. I get from this that you find joy in the pursuit of a goal that you can pour your heart and soul into. And the 9 here, it pinpoints you as being very close to the achieving of something. And that's the point in a cycle when our brains release dopamine, and we have hair, those cycles, which I'll talk about here, as well as in relation to Digitalis and then the Orchard. This is also a card of balance, just like the Digitalis card. So I'm going to throw a link right now about another pick a card I just did about restoring balance to a situation. Anyway, it's an energy of ascent and future planning. And also this deck is different than the traditional, in case you're like, that doesn't mean that. Like, I assure you in this deck it does. But anyway, there is joy to be found in the planning, the visualizing, and the celebrating each milestone on the path of your pursuit. So there's gratitude here too with that snowball. Every milestone means you're on to the next one. Okay, so the Orchard is another card of possibilities, and there's always something new to discover. Again, it's a joy in a pursuit or process, but also relishing what you've accomplished so far. Like, our brains derive pleasure from engaging and rewarding activities. So what do you do that feels rewarding to you in some way? So it's not actually joy that you're pursuing, it's just anything with a potential reward. The joy isn't the actual reward, it's the byproduct of the process. So give yourself something to anticipate. Okay, moving on to the Digitalis with cycles, this is like the Justice card. So the function of cycles in nature is to maintain and restore balance or homeostasis. So without death, rebirth, dissolution, and renewal, everything stagnates or continues in one direction for infinity. Cycles can be used to monitor fertility, optimize productivity and repair, and provide the reset after we do achieve something we set out to. Enjoy the reward and then cycle back to setting the next goal. And I am not all about hustle culture and promoting a constant hunger that leads to consumerism and never feeling like enough, but at the same time, having something to look forward to, even if it's just the next sunrise or sunset, is how we keep moving at all and not just sink into the couch of hopeless depression. See, the constant striving is not a cycle. It's an example of vector-like trajectory that leads to an extreme. Balance is when we allow the reset, the enjoyment, the revel, the gratitude. Okay, but life goes on and we need something else to look forward to so we can too. It's hard to keep keeping up with life if we feel like we're done, we've peaked, our best days are behind us and all that stuff. So with this 9, better days are ahead, balance is ahead, and a new era or phase is ahead, a new beginning is ahead. New things to be proud of are ahead, so you have a lot to look forward to. And also, final thought on that orchard card, rushing is robbing you of joy. It takes all of the fun out of the pursuit. Reaching your goal means a reset and a new goal. So allow the revel, or there's no reset and no point, just never ending striving and hunger. It's like racing around the Monopoly track 50 times and skipping over the go collect $200 every time. You're just on a hamster wheel at that point. So I hope that makes some sense, and I will talk to you in the next one. All right, stack 3. The mirror card says, learn to see God's presence in everyone you meet. You have the Lovers, the Five of Summer, the Lighthouse, and Prosperity, Peacock. All right, so first things first, as a metaphor, if you don't like what you see in the mirror, you don't fix the mirror, you change whatever the reality is that the mirror is reflecting, right? So anyway, even with the Lovers here, I'm not getting that this is really relationship based unless it comes after going back to stack 1 and starting to build from there. Because if it is more joy in your relationship you're after, you're not going to find it by trying to change them. You'll have to be the one bringing more joy to the table, or allowing yourself to receive the joy that's already present, or going back to the drawing board of stack 1 and getting back to baseline from there. That aside, it's the prosperity mindset over here with the Peacock that they want you to tap into and to start with. And with the Lovers, it's more about your commitment to it, your loyalty to your own vision for your life. So as far as creating or finding more joy, they're saying it's a reflection of something that you do or be or visualize or dedicate yourself to. The Five of Summer is a card of where you are focusing, and the more you focus on what is missing, what has been lost along the way, where we feel like we failed, the more the external will show us that. We will look for evidence of that to confirm our belief, and we will always find it. So work on changing the belief, look for evidence that confirms that, find it, and then there you go. The Lighthouse speaks on establishing a focus, like in dance or any physical activity. If you want to stand on one foot for any length of time, you fix your eyes on something still. Or to do turns, you establish a spot on the wall. Like your eyes always go back to that with each rotation. You don't like keep your eyes open and watch the world spin around you each time. You return to that focal point. Now, to have joy as the focal point, you have to kind of know what exactly brings you joy. And so joy itself is not really a stable, unmoving spot on the wall that you can anchor to, but you can create a vision that involves all of the things that you know for a fact have brought you joy, and be loyal to holding that vision when you feel tempted to focus on your complaints or your losses. I mean, and that's not to suggest toxic positivity or bypassing, but giving into cynicism won't work for sure. Life is sweet and salty, and the joy is nothing without contrast. There will always be that contrast, but the one that you feed with your attention the most will respond. And in fact, acknowledging the salty enhances the sweet. It's the difference between salted caramel, which I think we all regard as a dessert, versus potato chips, which are not, because they are mostly just salty. We're looking for a dessert here. And so I once tried to make chocolate with, it was like cocoa powder and sugar, and it was nasty until I added a pinch of salt. And it was like, okay, that's what this is supposed to taste like, which was sweet and not salty. And it's weird how that works. Anyway, so this is about what beliefs you hold and how the world reflects them back to you, right? So what do you believe about joy and its accessibility to you? Do you believe that the presence of loss or difficulty means there's no room for joy? Are you holding a perfectionist or all or nothing attitude about joy? Does everything have to be perfect in order to let it in? Do you see joy as a permanent state, like something that comes once you've defeated everything in life that is hard and you never face another obstacle or disappointment? So there's no such thing. Joy is sprinkled everywhere, and when you believe in it, it will show itself to you. So I hope that makes some sense and helps you out, and I will talk to you in the next one. Thank you.